Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my February wrap up. So I'm excited to talk about the books I read in February. I have them written down here as well as my ratings. The reason this wrap up is a little bit later into the month is because I just finished my last book for February yesterday. So it went a little overdue, but that's okay. I managed to finish them all within a reasonable time, so that's exciting. And yeah, I really like the format that I'm doing where I only have like 5 books a month. It's very like less stressful and easier to do, easier to manage for myself because I'm very busy a lot of the time. So yeah, I do like this format. But anyways, let's just jump into the books that I read. So the first one I'm going to put up here is my NetGalley read, and this was Aether Bound. So I ended up giving this one, I think I'm going to give it like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. There was a lot of promise for this one, and I had really high hopes going into it, but I had like no connection to the main character whatsoever. And then the other characters that got brought in, I didn't feel like connected to them either. I feel like it was good world building and they kind of explained the situation that everybody was in pretty well, but the characters themselves, like I had no attachment to them. So like I could care less what happened to them. And yeah, that was just kind of like a bummer because I really wanted to like them. I thought that it was unique that they had quite an emphasis on calorie counting because this is set in space and like you're going to need to portion different amounts of food for different trips and space voyages. So like I understood that, and this could be a trigger to some people. It even notes in the book like trigger warnings for this at the very beginning. So I did appreciate that because I know that some people would not enjoy reading this whole book knowing that that's going to be a high emphasis in it. But it was interesting to see because that's something that is actually something you need to consider if you're going on like a space voyage. I speak as if I'm like an astronaut or something, but you know what I mean? Like you need to plan out these things if you're going to be going on voyages or something like that. So I thought that that was interesting that and unique that they did that in this plot. But yeah, there wasn't really much to it. I couldn't really get invested because I wasn't invested in any of the characters. So if they got put in dire situations, I wasn't really caring. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Like I really wanted to like it. I just didn't. And that's unfortunate. But yeah, so 2.5 out of 5. Then I read my bookshelf pick, and so that was The Upside of Unrequited. And this is one of the books by Becky Albertalli that I have not read yet. I mean, I have now. And I actually really liked this one. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. This was a really fun contemporary following a main character who is just trying to fit in. They're trying to get through their teenage years and come out in one piece, essentially. They also are known for the abundant amount of crushes that they've had. I think it's like 26 or 27 that they've had. So they're trying not to have more crushes because they don't want to just be known as this person with all the crushes, but nothing ever happens to them. And yeah, it was such a cute read. I really liked all of the representation in this book. It was phenomenal. And yeah, I just thought it was so cute to see different things play out the way they did. There was like an overarching plot device of like acceptance and just being yourself and being who you are. And I thought it was so cool. Like I will always think that's a very empowering message, and I thought it was great. So yeah, this one was fun. And it does feature some characters from Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda because this is technically like a companion novel. So it's set in like the same world as Simon and his characters, just not the same place. So yeah, you do get to see a couple of them a little bit in this book, and that was fun. But yeah, I just overall thought this was a heartwarming, fun read, and yeah, I would recommend this one. The next book I read was Marketing the IRS. So I can't show you the book anymore because I no longer have it. This one has already made its journey to the secondhand store because I found this incredibly boring. I'm probably gonna give this like I'll give it a 2 out of 5 stars. not a 1, just because like it's more set up as kind of like a textbook style book, but it's following one man's process on how he thinks that he can change the IRS. And he is a former employee of the IRS. So it's kind of like him giving his advice from actually working within the IRS and what he thinks we can do to change it, to make it better for the IRS, for its customers, better for everybody. It's just not a subject that I generally enjoy that much. So I kind of knew going into it I probably wasn't going to give it a high rating, but I wanted to give it a chance just to see. And yeah, I was right. it's not the subject for me. So yeah, 2 out of 5 stars, and hopefully somebody else will find enjoyment out of this book. Then I read Let Your Lips Twitch. This was actually a book tour that I hosted, so this is an art copy, but this is a collection of humorous short stories, and I had a fun time with this one. I found that a lot of the short stories were very different, and there's even one short story where it's like told from the perspective of self-help books on a shelf in a bookstore, and they're all like different personalities according to their different self-help like remedies that are in their books. So I thought that was really entertaining. But yeah, there are a whole bunch in here. I had a select few that I really liked. There was one that I really liked, which was about a woman who's going to her best friend's kid's birthday party, and the clown doesn't show up, so she improvises and helps out. I thought that one was really fun. There was one that was about a woman who had the opportunity to go back in time and redo one of like her biggest regrets. And so I thought that one was really cool because it was like timeline related, and I love stuff like that. And then there was another one where there's a character who is he's a part of a play, but he's the bottom half of like a donkey or a horse. I think it's a horse. He's the bottom half of a horse. And so during the play, he ends up having some bowel issues. And so from there, you can imagine what happens, but I'm going to let you read it so you can figure it out. That one was very entertaining. So I had a fun time reading through the different short stories. I thought they were a good time overall. They were definitely like nice little teasers that could break up reading a bigger book. So that was fun. And yeah, I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last book on my list, which is the one that I just finished yesterday, was Miss Meteor. So this is a book written by 2 different authors. I have read Anna Marie McLemore before when I read Lake Lore. I wasn't a big fan of Lake Lore, but this one I did enjoy more than that book. So I think I'm going to give this one probably a 3.5, but I would like round it up to a 4. So this was following 2 different characters who used to be best friends, but you start off the book, they're not best friends anymore. Like they don't talk anymore, they don't interact. And it's them having to come together to, well, one of the girls, Lita, she wants to enter this beauty pageant. The town that they're from is called Meteor or Meteorite. There's like a big controversy on which one it actually is. But anyways, they have a beauty pageant that they run every year, and the winner of the beauty pageant gets $10,000. And so Lita wants to enter it, but she doesn't want to enter the beauty pageant for the money. She just wants to enter it because it's something that she wants to do, and she wants to have as like her remaining call out to her as Lita. Now, one thing about Lita is Lita actually is made of stardust because she arrived in this town by the meteor. And so Lita is slowly forming stardust clusters on herself that is making it so that she's actually going to go back up into the sky at some point. And so this is kind of like her last thing. Like she wants to do this beauty pageant to end off her life here. And then we have Chicky, who is not necessarily like a beauty pageant connoisseur, but Chicky has 3 other sisters who have all entered the beauty pageant in separate years, because that's the other thing. When you enter this pageant, you can only enter it one time. So they all have experience, and they come together along with Chicky as Lita's manager to help her pull off this pageant and just do this big thing. The reason Chicky's helping Lita is because their family owns a restaurant, and that restaurant is kind of going through a hard time right now, and so they really could use the prize money, and Lita agreed to help with that if Lita wins. So the two of them work together. This one has a lot of inclusivity, a lot of great LGBTQ plus themes in it, and I think that there were definitely some moments in this book where it's like you get to see people fight back for what they believe in and who they are, and it was just there are a lot of like little beautiful moments in it which I really enjoyed. But yeah, it's a beauty pageant book, which I've never read a beauty pageant book before, so this was a first, and yeah, I had a fun time with it. So yeah, 3.5 raised up to a 4. And those are all the books that I read in February. So let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books. I know it's not the most well-known list of books, so if you haven't, that's totally okay. But also tell me which one was your favorite book that you read in February. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as linked by my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.